Hello, everybody. Thank you all for coming here. Yeah, we have an exciting day ahead of us and an exciting panel as well. I'm here with Kostas from SWE.
Very nice to meet you and see you in all of the F1 experience here. I'm so happy to be here as well. I recently moved to Dubai, by the way, and I'm enjoying all of the UAE stuff.
Sweet. And with that, let's jump into it. So to start off, I think it'd be helpful, just as a refresher, what is SWE and what is the goal of SWE?
Of course. So SWE was created actually after the collapse of the Libra project at Facebook. I was personally leading the Facebook team for about 3 years on the cryptography side. If you're running WhatsApp, probably you have part of my code because I was one of the auditors and pretty much creators of the end-to-end encryption on WhatsApp. I'm cryptographer since when I remember myself. SWE is actually a new generation blockchain. I would call it like the modern era of L1 chains. What we want to be is we want to be the Web3 Apple. And the reason being is we started even all of the stuff at Facebook as, there is EVM, there is Ethereum, there is Solana, all of them. I personally owned all of these cryptos in the past. I was super happy. But I could feel there was an interest on creating something faster, something that is more robust, better experience for the users. Imagine if you're coming from Facebook, you're expecting not only digits being on this world, but also bankers, governments, regular social network users. And SWE is actually representing this form of new modern blockchain of very fast transactions, very easy for someone to onboard.
Very cool. And maybe you can elaborate a bit on you wanting SWE to be like the Apple of blockchain. Like, what would you say would be like an end goal for SWE then?
Of course. So pretty much there are a few things that the Silicon Valley companies are doing. I was personally in Palo Alto for many years, like 6 years before I came to Dubai, and before that in London. There is a certain pattern, right? They want to onboard users very quickly. And what we did is we tried to change even the way people are creating accounts on the blockchain, sometimes even if you don't know that you have a blockchain account. This is the only way to get the mass adoption. There is no other way to do that, right? Even if you are very experienced on cool technology, if it's very clunky, people cannot use it, you don't expect the average Instagram user or TikTok user to come on the blockchain. The other thing is the transactions per second. I mean, Apple can support all of this, millions of users, same with Facebook that can support 2 billion of users, just because they made the infrastructure so with big brains behind it and all of this stuff. And that's why we hired, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 people from Funks. Funks are the big companies, Facebook, Apple, Alphabet, and all of this. Pretty much 60 people with PhDs and super successful across the world. And we're planning to create more and more cool features here. And this is what Apple is doing every year, right? You see, okay, you're getting the new iPhone, although I don't see the new innovations lately. But practically, they're implementing something new. You've never seen it before. And this is what we're bringing to the space, some fresh air, some fresh ideas on cool stuff you can do with the blockchain.
Yeah, and maybe on that topic, what are some of the coolest innovations that SWE brought to Web3?
Coolest innovations. I believe the best one, in my opinion, is we managed to solve this trilemma of it's impossible to scale and at the same time to be secure and all of this stuff that some Bitcoiners and Ethereum users are complaining about. So we can handle now many thousands of transactions, pretty much even better than the Visa network. Imagine we're all using Visa credit cards and all of this stuff. And when the blockchain community is comparing themselves with the real world, it's typically with MasterCard and Visa, which is the most transactions you're expecting in real life. So we surpassed these numbers, and previously this was considered impossible. The way we did it is very simple, right? I mean, on Ethereum, if you want to get something, everybody, imagine we want to buy some NFTs or we want to do some transactions, we have to go to the same place, the same bucket. We wait in the queue until everybody gets their place on having a transaction. And obviously this creates a huge queue, and then they can have a transaction every 15 seconds, or in the Bitcoin, they can have every 10 minutes and all of this stuff. So we said, no. Let's use the model of Bitcoin. Everything is an object, but let's have accounts as the Ethereum model. And this actually helped a lot because technically I can send you something, you can send something else, but you don't need to wait for me to send you first something to have the other transaction. So we managed to have almost unlimited parallelization here, and this opened the door to compete now with Visa and MasterCard, but in the centralized space. That was one thing, parallelization, super fast transactions, and also very low latency, Because as you can see, Sui is now used for many gaming companies, AAA companies, to say, look, the average gamer wants to bring something on Web3, they cannot go with a delay of 10 minutes, of course, right? We cannot do this. And then eventually we realized, okay, can we do it sub-second? And then from the sub-second, every few months we had the new world record. We went to 0.7, then we went to 0.5, and now we're less than 0.5 in many circumstances. So this was huge. I believe you will see games, you will see DeFi, high-frequency trading, all of this stuff that was almost impossible to happen. And all of this in an L1, right? Because someone will say, oh, if VM has all of these other networks on the side, Ethereum is not fast, but maybe Arbitrum and all of the rest can be super fast because they're running next to the Ethereum. No. Now you're splitting all of the liquidity in multiple chains, and the gamer cannot do DeFi transactions, cannot play another game. You're creating all of this island situation that nobody's in the same boat. And in Sui, this was made possible. The other thing I believe, which was also very cool, is we managed to create accounts with a technology called Zero Knowledge, that you can have a login with Facebook, login with Google, no mnemonics anymore. Even Google doesn't know you have an account on chain, but now everybody can have access on the blockchain network without remembering a password. Imagine how important it is for someone like me that used to lead Facebook cryptography to go to my wife or my parents and just send the money. You don't need to have a password. You have a Google account, you have a Facebook account, Apple account, Microsoft account, you automatically have a blockchain account. And this will solve many of the problems on onboarding, I believe, which was super cool. And I can imagine even a third one, which was even more surprising to me that we managed to solve it. We found some algorithms and using some physics to even have transactions in the absence of internet. Imagine there is, I'm not referring to UAE. Imagine there is an earthquake somewhere or something is happening to the internet providers. We don't have access to the internet. Do we stop all of the financial transactions? Right? This is a good question, right? What do you do here? But as you can imagine, we have SMS. We can fall back to, FM, AM, radio signals, and all of this stuff. We even managed to work with dolphin, sound, underwater, and all of these things. This was almost impossible before. And now we have models where we can decentralize the whole internet, not only the financial instrument of this. And very recently, we also solved another problem, which I believe it's a huge one. How do you put large chunks of data on the blockchain? Because it's very expensive now. You will have to pay a huge amount of money just to put a single file, which is a few megabytes or gigabytes. At the moment, most of the people are doing IPFS, so they have to go outside Ethereum. They have to store something in another network or even cloud. But how do you know this file will be there when you need it? And we use some very cool algorithms now to compress everything pretty much in a decentralized cloud. We're going to call this project Walrus, if you know this seal species with the big teeth here. And in my opinion, it will be a big change in the environment where you can have transactions, as much storage as you want. Maybe AI now. If you can store big models now on the blockchain, you can have AI on chain. That was also considered impossible a couple of years ago. So this is where we are at the moment.
Very cool. And you mentioned you guys solved the blockchain scaling trilemma. Out of curiosity, are there any trade-offs that you feel like developers would be making by choosing your ecosystem instead of Ethereum today?
Yeah, I believe the biggest barrier for a new blockchain is how do you convince people who are already on Ethereum and Solana, because these are the biggest communities at the moment, to come to a new language, learn something that they were not exposed to before, and then you have to solve this with two, in my opinion, elements. One is education. Something that is missing in the blockchain space, and I'm a professor. I used to teach also at Berkeley and Stanford some period of my life, even in London and in Europe. I realized that most of the people who are writing web pages today, they sometimes feel a fear on how I can go and write a smart contract. And now they know, Ethereum is the way to go because that's what people know. But we hired all of these PhD students. Eventually, we created university courses so you can have more fresher people into the space. Because in my opinion, one mistake that is happening is all of the blockchain says, I will get 10% of the Ethereum users, and then Solana will get the other 5% of this 10%, and so you will get the other 3%, which in my opinion is a mistake. If you see the amount of developers and the amount of users on Web 2, compared to Web 3, Web 2 is 99.999% more than Web 3. We practically need to bring new, fresh ideas into the system. The only thing that works, and again, I'm using the Silicon Valley badge here, you see what Microsoft did with all of the governments, all of the universities, everything? They have to create advocates, they had to do education, they had to give certificates. How many of you here have a certificate on blockchain, on anything on the blockchain? Probably nobody, but some of you have a university degree, you have like some certification on your expertise or something. It's very rare, right? We have to work on this, everybody. You, myself, companies that are doing press, exchanges, everybody has to work on education. This is what we're planning to do. And in my opinion, something that is changing now is the help of AI is creating a matrix. You'll remember the movie, The Matrix, where someone was putting like a small USB and in a few seconds you have all of the information you need. Do you know what happened after YouTube? Where people can now learn in just a few months without having a real teacher in front of them. Now with AI, you can even have someone to ask all of the questions you want. So we're closing this barrier not because necessarily we're helping on education. The whole ecosystem now on the improvements on the AI and everything will make learning by far faster than it was before. Someone who wanted to beat Ethereum 2 years ago, it's by far easier now to get into a new language just by watching a few videos and then asking a few AI questions.
Totally. And looking forward, blockchain has come like a pretty far way since 2017. We're not building these proof of work undifferentiated chains anymore. How do you see blockchains moving forward into the future? Whether it's like the modular scaling people, whether it's Tron powering all of Africa, whether it's what do you think people should be optimizing for, and how are you guys positioning yourselves?
100%. So there is always the new administration in the US that I believe it will relax a few things. It will offer new innovation verticals. In my opinion, this is something that we should take advantage. And at the same time, we're in UAE, as you can see, also the governments now and many like the traditional ecosystem was a bit of a barrier in the past. Obviously, some people are losing their jobs, nobody is accepting like the change and everything. I feel what will happen is we're going to have a better framework on privacy on the blockchain. So we need to create new algorithms for privacy preserving transactions. It eventually has to be the same with your bank. Probably your bank knows about your transactions and you, but in the blockchain now everybody can see everything, right? So I have a feeling that on privacy we're going to see like a lot of changes. AI will be part of the blockchain. I personally, as a security engineer, I see so many scams happening in our ecosystem. You remember we were together a couple of days in an event in the F1 race. There are scammers, there are people who you don't know what they're doing. Transparency outside Web3 will be also a thing. We're going to see startups that are going to do fraud detection, AI at the wallet stage. I'm very surprised personally why we don't still have a wallet that is a personal assistant that stops you before you fall a victim of a scam. So I can see AI being both at the back end of the layer of the blockchain, being able to run AI algorithms, but I can also see startups, even from people here, there is a gap now. Even myself as an angel investor, I would put money if someone is building a wallet with some AI capabilities for security and maybe eventually for optimization of your assets. Maybe it can tell you, no, unstake from here and do this stuff and you're going to get better yield. Because we cannot be everywhere, right? It's a multi-chain world. You cannot know all of the opportunities you have every day. And this has to go hand in hand. They have to go together because many people are falling victims of some crazy amounts like 30% return and all of these things. And if you're in a tough financial situation, you might get into this trap.
Totally. And so which category of innovation in the future do you think would be the most relevant for Sui? Do you think, this AI stuff, do you think payments, do you think gaming, do you think, like optimizing for composability or like cross-chain UX, like account abstraction? Which categories of the future do you think are the most relevant for you guys?
Interestingly, the nice thing that Sui did, and this was a model that we had at Facebook, small spin-offs under a bigger umbrella, we're having one of the biggest research teams on cryptography and consensus. I believe performance will become even faster. So Sui will remain the fastest network in the world. We had many peaks in the past that were definitely for weeks the fastest network. We're going to have some advancements even on the network layer, how the messages go from one node to the other. You can save milliseconds. Even if we're laughing sometimes, what can you get by going from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 seconds? There is always the barrier of speed of light, right? You cannot do many things around this. So we're working on reshaping the internet. There is a company in Switzerland, the project is called Scion, and Scion is changing the way the messages are routed between the network providers. That's how you can go decentralized internet now, not only decentralized transactions. I believe what we're doing with the storage, now putting large files into the blockchain, will also change the narrative of many governments. Imagine you have to do in the shipping, maritime industry, oil industry. You want to have transparency, real PDFs being on the blockchain, DocuSign on the blockchain. We have to have identity elements that are decentralized now. You cannot rely on one single American company to have a contract here in UAE. So SUI is having different small cliques of people that are the top in the world. Some of them are actually the top of the world, not in the top list of the world, literally the best in the world. And we're solving this kind of stuff. Performance, storage, privacy, and I would say this will also give an opportunity for other industries to jump in. I will be surprised if in a few years from now, even real estate, we're in UAE now, right? Abu Dhabi. It will not be a Google map where you just press a button and you buy some land in Greece or Mexico. No, it will happen. I believe it will happen.
Totally. And all really exciting to hear. Exciting to think about the future. Really proud of how far you guys have come with SUI, and also we're proud to be a small seed investor in you guys as well. And maybe on a slightly different topic now, I know you mentioned you moved to UAE earlier this year. Me as well, and a lot of other people in our industry too. Maybe we can quickly talk about, where you see UAE playing a role in the future of blockchain too.
I'm personally a person who lived in all of the United countries. I was born in Greece, European Union. I went to London, United Kingdom. I went to United States of America, and now I'm in United Arab Emirates. So I've seen so many things across the world. UAE at the moment is probably the center of the crypto world for many reasons. Many of the influential people where you can have real-world applications on the blockchain are coming to the region just because it helps geographically. I would say the government is helping. It's very open. I see the difference. I was in Silicon Valley for the last 6 years before I moved to UAE. AI was dominating the field, and I'm saying AI is everywhere. Now crypto is getting again into the second to combine with AI first position as well. I cannot find a better place than UAE. I'm spending my time between Dubai and Abu Dhabi the last few days. We're also having the first blockchain academy in UAE. I'm a professor as well, helping new people to get into the space. I told you before about education. I haven't seen this in any other country in the world, right? Even the US, it's a bit more difficult to go to the industry directly on a topic like crypto. Well, not everybody loves. Everybody wants to explore more. The doors that are opening here, I guess you see it as well, not only on the personal side that you can talk to people who can make a difference on your ideas, but also execution is by far higher in the pace, in the rate, than anything else that I've seen in the past. So for me, this was a no-brainer. I should be here.
Totally. Completely agree. And Kostas, thank you so much for speaking today and talking about SUI. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks, everybody.